Hello folks, this is Mike Cayley 7 on this beautiful Monday. It's I believe it's Earth Day, the 22nd of April 2019. This morning I was watching a video by Payne's Rides. He had a paranormal experience at his job that made me think of my grandmother. So I'll tell you a story about my grandma. My mom's mom, her name was Helena Francis. Everybody called her Edna. She died in 1978. I believe she was 66 at the time. My grandmother was a practicing psychic. She had a crystal ball. She could read the tea leaves. So I'll tell you a freaky story. There are lots of them about my grandmother and her predictions of the future. And I apologize if I've already told this story. I've told it to so many people, I don't know if I told it on here or not, but here you go. My sister Sue, back when she was a teenager, or a very young, what do they call that, tween, preteen? She's like 11. And she was sitting in my grandmother's living room watching Lawrence Welk. And she was sitting on the floor and she was hugging a pillow, and all of a sudden my grandmother got up and said, "Don't you see the smoke? Don't you see the fire?" And she smacked the pillow out of my sister's hands and was like this on it. And my sister says, "What are you talking about? You don't see it? It's on fire. It's on fire." Well, it wasn't. And Susie just kind of racked it up to my grandmother being weird, because my grandmother was eccentric. And then several years later, my grandmother, she said to Sue, "You're going to come close to death 3 times before the age of 30. If you survive, you'll be fine. But on one of those attempts, or times that you're going to come close to death, you're going to hear a voice tell you to do something. Listen to the voice." So my sister, took it in. Okay, whatever. My grandmother died, like I said, in 78, and my sister, she inherited the pillow. She was married at the time. A couple of years later, she got divorced, and it was a bad divorce. And she was in this apartment on the 3rd floor in this old wooden tenement. They called it a fire trap. And she was lying in bed, and she heard a car that sounded like her ex-husband's car. She paid no mind, rolled over. She heard a door squeak open and slam shut. She heard someone walking up the gravel driveway. She heard sloshing, and then she heard foom. Through all of this, she kept telling herself, "It's nothing, it's nothing, I shouldn't be worried." And she kept hearing a voice saying, "Get up and look out the window." And each time it got louder and louder. The very last time she heard it, it was like it was yelling inside her mind, "Get up and look out the window!" So she got up and looked out the window and saw that the entire side of the house was on fire. She barely had time to get on her bathrobe and grab her guitar, and got out of the house right before she wouldn't have been able to. The whole house went up in flames. Luckily, nobody was killed. And that pillow was in the fire. Later on, and this is on Christmas Eve as well, by the way. Fine, how do you do? Later on, after she was at work, a day or two later, she got a phone call from her estranged ex-husband, and she said he sounded like the devil himself. And he said something like, "I see you survived my little Christmas present." Something like that. So to this day, we all believe that he came to the house, set it on fire to kill her. And my grandmother saw it coming. She used to say to my mom, "If you want to see the future like I do, you get a bowl of water and you stare into it, you clear your mind, and you'll see a picture like a movie show picture. And then you can see the future in it. And if you get practiced enough, you can take that picture and project it up onto a wall." And my mom, she never really decided to do it. She was kind of freaked out by the whole thing. My spidey senses are tingling here. I don't like this at all. I don't like this at all. There we go, that's better. My sister Sue, she has since gotten into it. She is learning how to be a psychic or whatever. She's studying this stuff now. Myself, I have had like a sixth sense when I was younger, especially. And I did have a future dream once, a dream that exactly came true. But it was about some mundane, nothing thing. But I remember distinctly, I dreamed about it. And I remember waking up thinking, that was a dumb dream. And then like 2 weeks later, the exact thing happened. Right down to the people involved, one of whom was a stranger. So have you had any quote-unquote paranormal experiences? Predictions of the future, or this idiot was going to pass me on the... Oh, I hate when they do that. That guy in the white car behind me was going to come up and cut over in front of me. But because I had my Boston sense and not letting people in, I was spared that indignity, possible danger. Anyway. So tell me if you've had any weird paranormal experiences. This is Mike Haley 7. Stay safe out there. I'll talk to you later.